Hello students, myself Deepika Prajapati from Computer Department, and let's start. Today we are going to subject introduced in a fourth semester. So dear all students, your new subject in a fourth semester as a fundamentals of software designing, and the subject code about the fundamentals of software designing is that 3340703, and this syllabus circums is depends on GTU University as stands for Gujarat Technological University. So, dear all students, let's start the syllabus overview regarding fundamentals of software designing is that depends on GTU. So, diploma programs in which this course is offered and computer engineering semester in which offered as a fourth sem. So, here the course title is Fundamentals of Software Designing, and the code about FOSD is 3340703. Here this one is a rationale of the FOSD, second one is a competency, and third one is a course outcomes, and then here next teaching and examination scheme depends on GTU. So dear all students, this subject is taken by me, means Deepika Prajapati. So dear all student, I taken your two subject .NET programming and FOSD in a fourth semester. So first start here. The rationale regarding the FOSD is the students of this course will be able to describe the evaluation of software, and they can design the software with various life cycle model with scheduling through requirement analysis, specification phase, client requirements will be easily understood, and systematic organization of requirements will be kept in specific document. So here the fundamental of software designing is nothing but it totally depends on client requirement, and this subject is totally derived as our software design. It means various types of models, then it including in the software system designing using with various types of diagram, just like a use case diagram, data flow diagram, it means DFD diagram, then activities diagram, class diagram, sequence diagram, entity relationship diagram. These all are included in our system designing as a software. Then here the competency regarding the FOSD is the course content should be thought and implement with the aim to develop different types of skills so that students are able to acquire following competency. And the following competency regarding the fundamentals of software design is that gather and analyze data, design user interface, prepare a system in terms of natural object. Then third one is the course outcome. So we have to learn about the fundamental of software design is describe the SDLC, it means software development life cycle. So first of all we have to study about SDLC model, it means software development life cycle. Then distinguish various software process model approach of software development. Then third, analyze, gather and prepare a software requirement specification for a given project. Then draw use case diagram for given modules and design user interface. Then apply code standard and identify software testing technique. So these all are included in our course outcomes about fundamental of software design. Then next, teaching and examination scheme about FOSD subject. So here the teaching scheme in ours LTP. So LTP is nothing but L stands for lecture, T stands for theory based, and tutorial, the teacher guided theory practice, and P stands for practical. So here the LTP consider in ours as based on T consider as a 3, T consider as a 2, and practically session as a total is 0. So our subject credit depends on LTP. So the addition of LTP, the credit of the subject is a 5, then theory based marks and practical marks. Totally the addition of theory and practical we get 100. So theory marks ESC consider as a 70 and PA consider as a 30, and practical session not allow in this FOSD subject. Here the course detail is nothing but totally chapter included in FOSD subject. So first subject of the FOSD as the chapter number 1, Introduction of Software Engineering. So the major learning outcomes from the chapter number 1, Introduction of Software Engineering, is that first identify the need of software engineering, then compare programs and products, then explain evaluation of software. And here the topic and subtopic regarding major learning outcomes 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. So chapter number 1 we have to learn the basically introduction about software engineering. So software engineering no introduction study કરવાનું છે. Then unit number 2, software life cycle model. This is the most IMP concept about the FOSD chapter number 2. Second chapter, software life cycle model. So describe the importance of the stage in software life cycle. Then second one is select an appropriate life cycle model for a project. Then design object oriented software and understand software development methodologies. Then differentiate various life cycle models. So various life cycle model, just like a classical waterfall model, then phases, shortcomings, utilities, iterative waterfall model. It also considered as a phase containment of errors, shortcomings, prototyping model, spiral model, risk handling phase, and so and so. Then schedule the task of given projects. So it consider work breakdown structure, activity networks, and critical path model and Gantt charts. Then next, chapter number 3 of the FOSD subject as a designing software requirement specification. So major learning outcomes consider as a chapter number 3 as a designing software requirement specification is a gather and analyze requirements of various projects. SRS is nothing but it stands for a software requirement specification. So prepare SRS document of various projects, explain merits and demerits of the explain merits and demerits of the formal methods. So we have to learn merits and demerits of various formal methods. And then next, transform the SRS document into design document, identify characteristics of good software design, and explain various types of cohesion and coupling. So this is the most IMP topic about our chapter number 3 is explain various types of cohesion and coupling. Then next, construct DFD diagram. It means data flow diagram and its various application. So it consider as a primitive symbol, concept, construct, developing and shortcoming of the DFD model. Then chapter number 4 about fundamental of software designing is that object modeling using UML. So UML diagrams stands for a use case model. Representation of the use cases, its need of how to develop the use case diagram, identify the use cases of system, essential versus real use case, factoring of commonality among use cases, and here the use case packaging and class diagram. Then good graphical user interface, differentiate graphical text based interface, list various types of user interface and list types of various widgets. So it consider as the types of user interface, various types of command languages based interface, menu based interface, direct manipulation interface, so and so. And widgets consider as a Windows system and types of widgets. Then chapter number 5 is coding and testing. So it discusses standards and guidelines of coding, list coding techniques, list various testing techniques. So coding, its review, its testing, maintaining, its documentation, and then publish the application. So here this is our chapter introduced. Now the suggested specification table with hours and marks. So here the teaching hours depends on a chapter. So chapter number 1 teaching hours as a 4 and contain as RUA. Total marks of the chapter number 1 7, then chapter number 2 21 marks totally. Chapter number 3 consider as also 21 marks. So in a G2 exam we have two most IMP chapter based on G2 exam as a chapter number 2 and chapter number 3, and then chapter number 4 consider as 14 marks and 5 consider as 7 marks. So R is nothing but remembrance, U understanding, A application, and above levels revised Bloom's taxonomy. And note that this specification table shall be treated as a general guideline for the students and teachers. The actual distribution of marks in the question paper may vary slightly from above table. And then next, the suggested list of our practical as well as our experiments of the fundamental of system design is that totally here 14 practicals allowed in our FOSD subject. Here the list of students activities. So this is our activities of students suggested list, then special instructional strategies, and here the learning resources, it means list of books. This is the reference book with author name. You can use a FOSD subject for the use. This is a list of books as a reference with your author, and the list of major equipment instrument with a broad specification. And this one is a software learning website, and here the faculty member from the politics is given also. Okay, I hope you all are easily understand the subject syllabus overview. Okay, thank you. So this one is our syllabus of fundamental of system design.